Hey guys, welcome to Medigrow. It is great to be here back for one more episode. So the question, why Medigrow? Trusted partner in your journey to your financial freedom. That's what we are all about. For 30 years, we have been working with clients that are doctors, nurses, people from the medical industry. The whole idea in the beginning was to give them financial intelligence, give them aspects of their lives where they could minimize their tax, get rid of their debt, build assets. But it's with great joy we are here today because not only we're still producing industry-leading events with CPD hours, but today we're going to take our AI from finance solutions to your solutions, your medical solutions. AI for us in our world is being part of our world now for some time. And now it will become part of your world. If you are curious about AI, if you're already using a little bit of it and you'd like to know how to leverage, we are going to introduce to you advanced AI solutions like you have never seen before. It's with great joy that we have our event today. Not only that, we also know that in Australia, as a young nation, there's a lot of infrastructure to still go. Our country is going to go from 25 million to 630 million, and eventually we're going to have 80 million people in the island over the next 50 to 100 years. It is now, today, when we empower the very people that are the front lines of our society, doctors, nurses, the medical systems. We take care of those that take care of us. So we have gone not only from real estate and finance and now into AI innovation and the digital opportunities that will come before us. We want you to achieve your goals fast. We want you to achieve your goals, whatever they may be. They may be in terms of totally making sure that your clinic, your hospital is in the future, not in the past. And every single thing we do always comes back to philanthropy. We want to help people to be prosperous beyond their understanding because there are those in the world that will never be able to access what we can access. So our job here today is to take you to the future, make you present to your possibilities, and then help those that cannot help themselves. So Medigrow has three bases. Number one is finances. Everything financial has to be taken care of. As you know, we have developed AI in that front for the last 6 years in a very, very, very committed way. AI now is becoming frontline, it's becoming mainstream. Everybody's talking about it, but we're not talking about just nice prompting into some computer software. We're talking about getting you with AI systems so you can have more time. You can be involved on your purpose, even your legacy, therefore our philanthropy aspect to Medigrow. I want you to know that at the end of the presentation today, after we've gone through everything you have come for in the AI front, I have an invitation for you. And I am very excited for this invitation. I just want you to be really with me to the end. And by the way, for those of you that are just arriving and here right now, if you have any colleagues, if you're accountant, colleagues, even your spouse, has nothing to do with your profession, get them into this presentation because this today, I promise you, it is going to be revolutionary, right? And now, without any further ado, is with great joy, I want to introduce you to our guests. I have here Finbar Olhalen and Diren Velu. Finbar, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thanks, Julia. What a great intro. Well, it's great to be connected to such amazing people and an amazing team. A little bit about myself. I've spent 30 years building tech companies around the world. I've lived in 5 countries. My last invention, I've got 19 patents around technology innovations. The last company one of my last inventions, I ended up floating as an IPO onto the ASX company. And so I do a lot of work in this space, in the AI space. I work with a group called Cogna, which is a data science company, and we develop real customized, highly specialized applications for all types of industry and defense and all sorts of things. Where my background is really specializing on the intersection between human capabilities and technology. So even though I've got a background in technology and music, as you can probably tell, a lot of my work is in the transition between what are the human capabilities that we need to, what does our human operating system look like in a world of AI? How do we change? How do we build an adaptive mindset? How do we sort of understand the change? And how do we look through multiple mental models to be able to make decisions which impact our future, rather than being stuck in biases which hold us into fear in the past? So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you so much. Darren, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Firstly, very glad to be here. I love these discussions, Julio and Finbar, as we've had in the past. Look, my name is Dhiren. I am the head of innovation, and I head up AI for a large consulting firm. My job includes advising business executives and leaders on just responsible adoption of AI, responsible and the ethical adoption of AI. So I spend my time mostly with large enterprises as part of my job, helping them build large enterprise AI systems. This is an area of deep passion for me. I'm academically qualified in AI. So when I did AI, it was a research subject, and now it's so mainstream. It's almost, we're seeing companies that are AI first, like companies born out of AI. So it's great to be here. I spent a lot of time in this space. Finbar and I did a patent together recently, so I've got some patents in the past as well in this space. So looking forward to this discussion, and great to be here.
Guys, I am so glad you guys are here. I am so privileged, so blessed is the word. I know that when people know about AI, they know who you are. When people like you are the top of the tree in Australia, and it is such a joy to have this. And for those that are just arriving and they want to know a little bit about AI, I'm just really setting out to blow the minds. It's what we want to do. So as you know, we've been planning this day for a while, and we have over 300 guests here today. We've been televised across Australia. There are some people watching us from the United States, and it's just Canada. It's just such a great day. It's just been coming. So I want to acknowledge my team right back. I have everybody on the team here today. Guys, for those of you that are watching, you have no idea. This is my first question. We're going to launch straight away. I want you to engage. For those of you that are sitting at home right now, that are at your office, wherever you are, if you have a question, a comment, or something, please put it on the chat. Okay, we prepared this presentation based on the questions we have received over the last 6 weeks, right? But those of you now that are just arrived, or a colleague told you to be here, you're just learning who we are, not a problem at all. Just put a question into the chat. My team is here. They will be taking the notes, and next week we'll get back to you with specific answers to your questions. I want to acknowledge Will. I want to acknowledge Nathan, Pedro, Jessica. I want to acknowledge Scott, Michael, and every single person that have come and help us to make this perfect. Hello, Lucas. Thank you, everybody on the team. It is absolutely great. So guys, without any further ado, slide number 1, right? It says, okay, AI integration in the medical practice. Finn, how can AI be integrated into a busy medical practice without disrupting the daily operations?
Okay, so any project, especially any AI project, it can be looked at through 2 lenses, a tactical lens and a strategic lens. And AI can have this sort of effect, where a novelty effect of, oh, I want to play with this, and oh, that sounds really exciting, and this sounds really exciting. But that is the wrong approach. To seamlessly integrate it into your practice, you want to be strategically led, which means that you need to look at, through the business lens, you need to start to identify blockages in the process, whether it's patient registration or whatever that is in your practice. Where are the pain points in the business? And then from the pain points, then you can actually start to think about the AI tools that might address the pain points. And so by looking at it from a strategic lens, it's the pain points have an attributable value cost, a positive or negative weighting to that. And then the tools can be selected based on addressing the pain point. You see, if you come at it from a tactical lens of playing with this and playing with, Anthropic's here or building my own GPTs here, or I've heard this and LLMs, and it's a fire hose of information. And it just leads you down a path of distraction and a path of frustration. So to seamlessly integrate it into a practice is a business. You really want to make sure that you are approaching it from that strategic lens.
Absolutely. We know that doctors are flat out busy, and with all, as you're saying before, Darren, it was a research paper when you started, now it's mainstream, right? And people want to get on this horse. They want to understand more. So the next phase of the same slide is, what are the most common challenges doctors face when adopting AI, and how can them be overcome as well? And if you want to pick up on what Finbar said as well, please go right ahead.
Yeah, no, I think Finbar, with your last one, I think gradual implementation, sort of bringing AI gradually into your workflow is the key, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to jump at it. You don't want you made a nice point there. Look for pain points. Where are you spending the largest amount of time in your entire workflow or your value chain? And then see what AI can do, particularly with those pain points first, right? Because AI can do everything. These are what's called multimodal and the multi-operational. They can just do a lot of things. You don't want to jump at it. And one other thing super important is there are off-the-shelf products now. You don't have to build. Gone are the days where you have to build solutions, AI-based solutions. These are all nicely packaged. You can just activate one of them, activate it at the right point in your workflow, and gradually implement it. We employ what's called a shadow AI. So sort of bring it in parallel with your workflow and keep running your workflow the way you run in parallel with AI, and slowly bring AI more into your workflow. So these are some best practices or some tips of adopting AI.
Yeah. So just on that, I think another point which is absolutely spot on with what Darren said is that when you gradually implement, or when you shadow AI, when you're using it on the side, for example, a voice to text. In a meeting, you can be transcribing the voice to text, but you can also be taking notes. But by that shadow, it means you can evaluate both. But what's the important point that I wanted to cover off is that from a change management perspective of the people in the practice playing with AI, once they actually can use these tools in a gradual way and see the benefit that it's giving them, it takes away a lot of the fear. Whereas trying to go at it bull at a gate, where like to Darren's point here, doing it gradually allows them to see the benefits quickly. I'm sure everyone on this call remembers when they first played with ChatGPT, or when they first got a smart speaker in their house and they asked a question and it was like, wow, this is amazing. Once you're starting to gradually implement that in the business practices and they're seeing the results, the change management process starts to become much more natural.
I like very much that we know that it was only news, and then we use it every day, and now it's not in our future. For you, AI is behind, and you said yourself, it can do anything and everything, right? And it is pretty much an approach. How do I get into a conversation that makes sense for me as an individual, and a conversation between me and my patients, between me, my patients, and the government, full integration systems, right? And so this conversation is not just about ChatGPT. How do I best get this or that? Is the whole idea that the AI can take notes, can help you with preparing the prescription notes, it can do so humans will be able to really hop on this horse and ride it, really ride it, rather than being afraid of it. So,
but to the other point, I think, sorry, Darren, did you want to cover off? I think the second question, which are, what is the challenges in adopting AI? What are the challenges?
The barriers.
The barriers, yeah. So in the work that Darren and I do as industry experts and coming in into these organizations and leading some of these things, what we always do, it's all fine to say strategic, but if you can define what the North Star is in the business, what would be the ultimate goal? Where do we want to head with this, right? And then from there on back is trying to think about the value. So if we said, we want to implement AI because we think, based on the research, it can save us 38% of our time in doing these manual processes. So if you realize that that's a North Star, then what happens is, if you're starting to say, well, if we improve the processes by 38%, then that means we can take X amount of more percentage of our patients coming through the door because we've got a more streamlined process, and then that equals X amount of uplift. That becomes the why. So then you've got the North Star, then you've got the why statements, which are the value statements. And then what happens is then you put training underneath that. And so from a strategic lens, everyone is channeled towards what the end North Star is. Everyone knows what the end goal looks like, what the value statements are. And when you've got staff that understand that, you say to someone, would you like to save 38% of your time in doing stuff you don't like doing? The majority of the questions are going to be yes. And it's like, okay, if we implement AI to do that, now they're bought into the why, the value proposition. This is part of that change management process where you're getting them to buy into the end state, rather than saying, here's AI, start taking on AI, and it's all too complex and I'm not technical savvy. It's not about that. It's about the end goal state.
I love that. I love that. Guys, because the slides here for the questions kind of helping me to guide the conversation, right? So let me just say, enhancing patient care. Because at the end of the day, I can save 38% of my time on the things I don't like to do. And I think also from a government perspective, from a patient perspective, right? How does it enhances, right, the patient care? So in what way can AI improve patient care and outcomes? Can you share some real world examples of AI applications that have significantly enhanced patient care?
Yeah, I think Darren will be, if you want to talk about some real examples, but if I just before he talks about that, so in terms of how it improves patient outcomes, AI can streamline, admin tasks and workforce optimization. So everything from who's scheduled on, who's scheduled off, all of this sort of stuff. It works on large data sets to come up with this sort of stuff. So it can do lots of different things in terms of patient outcomes where it can integrate with wearables. So if you think about this, a patient comes to a doctor's practice at its point in time, which is basically a marker where measurements are taken, and then advice is given. And then when they visit the practice again next, a measurement's taken and advice is given. AI can sit between those visits and interact with wearables and IoT devices to take measurements and to be providing a richer data set. So when they visit the practice, there is a much richer data about what was happening over what period of time to be able to make better informed decisions about the patient outcomes.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just to build on that. So the point, Finbar, I think you're trying to make there is between appointments. Doctors are time poor. We know that. They're working long hours. They're time poor. The time between appointments, you can have AI systems engage with your patient, right? Whether it is in the form of a always-on bot that can answer FAQs, maybe do a little bit of educational, maybe it's a post-surgery period and you want to continuously monitor and provide information. All that can happen between appointments, completely on. You build it once, you let it out, and then it's continuously keeping your patient touch points.
I love the idea that a particular doctor, like Dr. James A., can download, if you use that word, all his expertise to his digital twin. That's using some new language, right? It can exactly what you're saying. He could actually have his Q&A like be 24/7, and like it is sourced from his experience and basically later from broader data sets. In other words, the patient can have access to highly integrated, high-end communication, right? Even though the doctor right now is not available, it is from the same source.
Well, it's also from you can take in environmental conditions. So it could be, here comes a storm which might affect asthma. That then could the bot, so it could be taking in fields from different sources to be able to provide up-to-date information that might be relevant to people that are the doctor's patients that have. So it's about being able to provide this greater ability to have dynamic information which might affect the patient outcome, rather than just, okay, here's a fixed thing, go and try it. It can be monitored. AI can be 24/7, can work in different languages. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really
It's
cool.
funny you say the digital twin. We were talking to a group of doctors just the other day of having an avatar of the doctor.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to engage with his patients all the time. His specialized clinic has specialized information that needs to get out, and he is already exploring. This is a doctor in Melbourne that we know, good friends of ours.
Yeah.
He's exploring a digital version of himself that can represent.
It's scary, fascinating, elevating that this is real.
Yeah.
And the truth is, together we can build it. We know between us that's kind of okay.
That's all.
We're going to get it done.
But the point about the work we're doing with this particular doctor is this doctor realizes that he's in control.
Correct.
100%.
And the AI is solving a problem. It's not doing all of his work.
Yeah.
It's doing the parts of his work that are currently where the business challenges are.
Yeah.
Which is being able to provide all of this these frequently asked questions and answers, and then trying to figure out a way to monetize that, whereby it doesn't hit into an ethics or a compliance area. So it's quite interesting.
We know it, like, for our medical doctors, that we created our very first digital broker a couple of years ago. And the truth is, it really does the heavy lifting. Our AI, our digital broker, does all the communication, all the heavy lifting, even to the point where it can interact with the customer and know which banks to go to. So this is in our past. From so many things on the medical aspects, it's just a matter of having the doctors come out and play. And I love the fact that we're already engaging, consulting with doctors. Let me just go to slide number 3. Okay, so we already start touching a little bit about that. Slide number 3, cost efficiency. For me, it's been amazing. Like 3, offices in every capital city in Australia. Right now, we have digital presence worldwide. It's a completely different game. It's like same efforts. We do the same thing, but now it's like a leverage at another level, right? So I want you to bring this for our viewers today. Let me just ask the questions. How does AI contribute to reducing operational costs in a medical practice? What are the long-term financial benefits of adopting AI for small to medium-sized clinics? When people sit and think, I'm too small to consider it, right? Any comments from you guys?
I'll talk on the operational costs a little bit, right? So just the admin tasks in a clinic, outside of the actual clinical practice things, is the bulk of the time that you spend. Any doctor or any clinic owner would tell you that. Like we said, there's so many tools today to automate a lot of the administrative tasks, so that it frees you up the time to have more time with your patients and do your patient work a little more deeply. So the cost savings from appointment scheduling or staff rostering and things like that. And again, these are not, you don't have to build these solutions. If you're using Microsoft suite of products, your Microsoft Word has Copilot, which is an AI waiting there to help you. Your PowerPoint has Copilot. Your Excel spreadsheet has Copilot. So if you leverage all of these in the right way, you'll see that it all sort of adds up to your time saving, therefore cost saving. And then things that happen due to human error. There were some stats around how much of rework happens, in a clinical practice, because it's human. We are prone to errors. We make errors and we do repeats. And there could be a junior staff who's just joined or first year of their job. All of that, the savings that comes out of error and repetitive tasks is again huge. But long term, I don't know if you wanted to touch on a few long term benefits. You did patient throughput, and you mentioned that.
Well, yeah. So, and as you know, some of the research that we're doing, some of the stats that are coming out of some of this research is quite amazing. On a six person clinic, they're saving up to 3 hours per day.
That's significant. That's really, it's not small. By the time you count a whole year, right? And not only that, you saving the time is the leverage of that time.
Well, it uplifts the culture because the staff are happier.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're having to do less of the stuff, that tedious stuff that was actually the bottleneck. The patients are happier because they can get through on the phones because the phones aren't blocked up and jammed up. So just releasing that logjam has long-term financial benefits, but it has long-term culture benefits. It has long-term impacts on the whole business. And I'll just say, we're just getting started with AI.
Yeah.
This is why we say by starting small, if you can implement, if you can get 3 hours saving of human time per day optimized, and you see the benefits that comes from that, this is the beginning of AI. So you're getting on the on-ramp in the right way, targeting, to my first point about strategic stuff and what Darren's been talking about. This is a way to onboard yourself into the AI world where you're not jumping into the big, deep ocean trying to think about large language models and all this sort of stuff. You are addressing specific pain points in the business.
Yeah.
And they all have financial impacts long term.
Well, one of the things that I love about hanging out here today is some of our members we are already sorting, you and I are working with a high profile cardiologist in Queensland, helping him to create his app, looking up his clients. So it is just the value to goodwill is out of this world as well. The ability to be present 24/7 and in any language. There's another thing also to say it. Like if somebody struggles, with one language, the AI can respond in another language, like automatically.
AI is today's AI is extremely good with language translation.
Yes.
Extremely. It surpasses human scores in some cases. AI is extremely good at summarizing and crunching large amounts of information. So if it's 10 pages of documents you got to deal with, AI can do a better job than us.
Yeah.
If it's translation, AI can do. It's always on. It's always available. So there are some key strengths of AI that you want to tap into.
There are also some, AI's got to a point now, right as of today, where its voice, its spoken capabilities are imperceivable to a human.
Yeah.
It's not like the old days where it sounds like a robot. So you can have phone calls being answered in any language and someone just responding in a language and it automatically changing and responding like a real person, 24/7.
Appointment scheduling in the voice of the doctor, in the voice of the person you want.
See, guys, for those of you that are just kind of hanging in there, kind of getting to know us, before we started, I was having a conversation with these two gentlemen, and they were telling me to imagine that in the past, we would have to learn a programming language. And there were many of them. Now, your spoken language is a programming language.
That's right.
Like in translation,
English
it's not just from Chinese to Portuguese back to English. It's in human language into computer language or code, if you will. You could say, build me this.
Could I just elaborate on that for a second? Because I think there's something really important that everyone watching this stream should really try and understand here. If we look at how we've learned as human beings, right? We learn these competencies, which are skills, attributes, and behaviors. So to become a medical doctor, you go through all of this stuff, all this learning. You've got different ways to process that learning. With AI, understanding AI is not a challenge. It's actually the easiest technology that has ever been invented in history, because the understanding of natural language, if you can speak well in whatever language you want to speak in, if you can provide context through language, language is the programming interface. And so AI is actually not something to be feared of. Whilst you might read news and see all this stuff and terms that you've never heard of, to actually use AI is actually one of the simplest technologies that have ever been invented. That's why it's so pervasive across all industries. So I would say for anyone that's in fear of all these technical sounding terms, look, you guys are in probably the most technical sounding terms of anything in history. AI is actually one of the simplest things to actually start to harness if you can look at it through a strategic lens.
Right, absolutely. Let's move on. 4, data security and patient privacy, right? This is going to be big, always will be big. Who owns the data, etc., all sorts of papers everywhere. And a lot of people coming into this will come up as a pillar of discussion. Can we just quickly discuss how does AI ensure the security and privacy of patient data? What measures are in place to prevent data breaches when using AI technologies?
You want to start this one, or do you want me to?
Yeah. Look, I think the question is not if AI can help in data breaches. So when you're using AI, or AI can help with data and security, what kind of practices, best practices you want to adopt so that your patient privacy, your patient's data, that data is not at risk, right? So, of course, you can use AI. AI is used to do all of these protection mechanisms. It can write complex encryptions, and it can sort of ring fence and lock these data in a complex way that cannot be easily interpreted. But when you're using AI, the question is, when you're using AI, how do you make sure that your data is not leaking into these AI systems? Because these are very powerful systems, right? You take the open world of ChatGPT. It looks harmless. You ask a question, gives you a question back. But everything you're using in that open ChatGPT world, all of that questions you're putting in there can be used to train the model, the core brain of the AI. There is no guarantees. Like if you accidentally mention Julio or Finbar's name in it, that AI system, nothing stops it from learning about Julio or learning about Finbar. The way we do this properly in the enterprise world is you use the right tools, you use the right ring fences. And there are a lot of proprietary companies that give you that ring fenced environment where they give you the guarantee. In this ring fence, no matter what you share with me, I am not going to use it. That's my guarantee as a software provider. That's my guarantee as a platform provider. I'm not going to be remember anything you're going to tell me. I'm going to give you an answer, and that's about it. And there are various levels of customization. Now, it depends how critical the system is. If it's a simple, can you write a little paragraph summarizing some clinical notes? I'm not going to mention any names. Go use ChatGPT, right? Now, if you're getting critical things where you're starting to share information, you're pulling EMR files and other records, then you've got to think through this a little more. And there are various techniques, probably for another day, but there are techniques, there are good, responsible ways to adopt this.
Yeah, and that day is coming.
And look, I think that was a great, phenomenal explanation. Just through a different lens, AI itself doesn't provide protection. It is a tool that, with the right systems and processes, we guide it around that. We put the policies and the processes in place where AI can provide that protection. But when it comes to data breaches and what can it do, AI can run 24/7, checking, analyzing data, looking for anomalies in data. AI can basically de-identify patient data very, very quickly. It can encrypt data quickly and decrypt data. So it can do all of this sort of stuff, whereas in the past it would be a separate process.
Correct.
That requires a whole heap of work to then, de-identify data, and then re-identify data would need multiple data sets and linkages of data. You would need them in different. So it greatly simplifies the ability to secure data. And in protecting data breaches, you've got basically an agent or a number of agents that are 24/7 watching your data, looking for intrusions, looking for anomalies, and being able to report on that. And to have a human being doing that all the time, obviously there are existing systems, but it can be used, and it can be used to greatly reduce the load of typical processes around data breaches.
You see, the conversation here is like this. Sometimes people want a quick explanation so they can make a decision, and sometimes a quick explanation is not efficient enough for me to choose what to do. And I love your expression about fire hose, all this information coming down, people making all sorts of decisions because they're jumping from this news to that news, and AI will come and take all the jobs and talk like this. It couldn't. When we go from data safety, it's a detail of detail. We got it. So when you sit here and you tell every single person watching this going, hey, data security is on the cards all the time. It's from old days to the little days. AI is not going to be a change maker. It's just going to facilitate and help it to be, more and more efficient as we go. As you said, we're just starting out. We're just starting out in this world.
But to Darren's point too, that like his earlier point was start small. And the easiest way to deal with data security as getting into it is to go to a vendor that provides it.
Yeah.
They already exist. So that all of that stuff, the complexity, you can then hand that off to someone who gives that guarantee. And then you've got your checkbox, you've got your governance checkbox, you've got your sponsor. If someone comes in saying, how is your data housed? You go, we're providing with that partner. They do that.
Done.
Yeah. I think that's the gap in the market, right? There's so much information, you don't know where to go, where to start. There are tools that have spent a lot of time and energy in building these ring fences. It's just pointing people in the right direction. That itself is a huge value.
So I am a doctor. Now I love the fact that we're already sharing with our audience that we have doctors as clients, that some people really ahead of the game, right? Some other people are just looking at ChatGPT and thinking that they know something about AI, right? Question number 5, AI and diagnostic accuracy, right? How can AI improve diagnostic accuracy in reducing the margin of error in medical diagnosis? Darren, I'm gonna leave this one with you.
Yeah, AIs are not foolproof. They are not 100% accurate. So you got to know where to use them. So how much of control should the human expert, in this case, the expert doctors have, and how much of control the AI has? There are some things AI does extremely well, like beyond human capabilities, like processing large amounts of data. If you have a patient waiting in the patient room, in the lounge room, and before they could come here, I could process 10 years of their patient history. AI can do that.
Absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
AI can do that.
Somebody's waiting, and the AI is already working.
It's already working, and it's working at a speed you cannot imagine. Now, you don't want the AI to make decisions. Never in the medical space, at least. Like I work with large banks. You'd never let the AI make the final critical decision. You make the AI do the groundwork, the grunt work, and then you, as an expert, use those inputs to make the final decision. So human in the loop is the concept, right? And how you are in the driving seat. You should always be in the driving seat.
Yeah.
There may be, so when I say this, today, there are some tasks AI can do autonomously. If you say, schedule my appointments, get my staff rostered, et cetera, it'll do it. You don't need to be in the loop. But if I'm doing a diagnosis, if I'm working with a patient, or I'm a banker working with my client, you need to be in control. Now, having said that, the AI is coming closer and closer to doing more things autonomously. But today, the theme is augmented intelligence. You want AI to be next to you, not give AI the control. So we sometimes call this the swivel chair. You know, you swivel your chair, you talk to the AI, you come back. You swivel your chair. There's always an assistant physician or an assistant with you in the form of AI. I think when you use like that, accuracy becomes a very different theme, because now you're not reliant on 100% accurate. You shouldn't rely on 100% accurate systems. AI can also now are very transparent systems. When I say transparent, you can ask AI, how did you come to this conclusion? Tell me. A good AI solution will tell you, here is how I arrived at this. It'll go back and do provenance of where it got this information from. A simple tool, right? Like Perplexity AI. I use that for Googling. I stopped Googling a long time ago. Perplexity AI is a free tool. I go and ask, like I'm Googling, right? I say, I want to know what is the latest in image analysis, in medical image analysis. Right? I ask in natural language. I don't search, I ask the questions. It comes up with all these answers. And then I can sort of interrogate that. I say, how did you get to this? It tells me where it got the answers, how it built the answers. So they are transparent systems. Those are the kind of things you want to adopt.
So guys, for those of you that are watching right now, I really want you to zero in on what Darren just said. There are plenty of tools and you can play with it. Plenty of tools. So it's Perplexity.
Perplexity.
Yeah, Perplexity, AI. You heard it. You just go there, natural language, you find solutions. Now, what we have found, especially from our members, is that a lot of people are aware of AI and they're using AI like out there, coming, where we have other doctors, other companies using our membership. We're using Medigrow to leverage all the know-how to go into developing of processes, getting into the future, making the future the present, right? So we're going to keep carrying on. We're halfway through the questions, and then I want you to understand that Medigrow is set to revolutionize everything available to all the doctors in Australia, New Zealand, Canada. If you are here today, right now, watching, and you're liking this, and there is a colleague of yours that you know should be here, just send them the link right now. The team should put the link again up on the chat box. The same link you got here is the link you send to others, because we are now going to go into wider questions. And I want you to really start taking notice, because if it's first time you're listening to things, it will hit you in a certain way. This presentation is designed to get every single person in the medical world to understand that AI is not out there. It's here to stay. It's not something for us to play with. It's something for us to engage for good. So guys, let's talk about custom AI solutions for doctors. On question 6 right now, what custom AI solutions are available that cater specifically to the needs of medical professionals? Is question number 1. And question number 2, how can doctors get started with developing bespoke AI system for their practices?
So look, I think custom solutions need to be built. So they're custom, hence why they're not readily available. But the building blocks for custom solutions, like the Lego bits, are available. And so this is where it gets into partially the first question and partially the second question in terms of how doctors get started. It's that needs assessment. It's that thing that we talked about right at the beginning. By going through and figuring out what parts that you want to have AI uplift your pain points, that through that needs assessment helps you then start to figure out what are the building blocks that you need, and then how do they go together to provide a custom solution. Going about it the other way by saying what custom solutions are out there that I can use. In that term, custom would be used more of a branding sort of term, so doing the needs assessment, understanding what building blocks are there, then you can put them together in a way that makes sense for you. That's where the custom solution comes into play. And then once you've got something like that, then you provide the training on that solution rather than training on a fire hose of information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you covered it well. It's just mapping out your needs assessment and seeing what existing tools exist and what new tools you need to bring in.
See, because in practical terms, like, somebody comes in and says, "Oh, I would love somebody to make my appointments for me." That's one piece. And then somebody else comes along and says, "Oh, can I really be 24/7 available for my patients?" Because they're very separate things. But some of those are custom designed. They already exist. And if somebody doesn't have the difference, as you're saying, about any strategic view, right? They may have these little pieces, but it's all disjointed. It's all over the place.
That's right. And the difference between someone saying, "Oh, I'd really love someone to take my calls for me," as an idea, into an opportunity, which are, okay, what's the business impact of that? How much value that is? Is that viable for the business? What is the cost of implementing? This is where the needs assessment is actually, you look at that opportunity and you look at the AI, and then you start to build a map where that's how long it's going to take to build. This is how much it's going to cost. That's the time that it could. So it's about, and this is a lot of the work that Dhiren and I do with organizations. And this is why we come into a lot of organizations that have already started down the AI path and they're lost.
Yeah.
And so we come in to put the puzzle pieces back together.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I love that. I love that bespoke is real. And sometimes people think you've got to start from scratch. There are all sorts of Lego tools already available.
Correct.
Just plug and play. It's like you put a board together and you just keep putting the pieces.
You still need someone to have the map of how they're put together.
And the person who owns the business needs to understand, be involved. It's a great conversation to have had, especially if you know nothing.
And Julia, this is where that collaborative effort, when we get engaged, typically we work for very large organizations, okay? So when we don't normally work with individuals, we work through our organization's clients. But when we get engaged, people are, they're really they know what problem they're trying to solve, but it's more than just, I've sort of lost my train of thought now, but it's this. I carry on about the strategic approach to it. It's really, this is where a lot of people get stuck up. They're playing around with all this stuff. They go lost down things. They spend a ton of money.
Yeah, and it's also a constantly moving and shifting space, right? So you need a trusted source of information that's highly relevant, because there's too much noise out there.
Too much noise.
Too much noise. So you need a trusted source, and you need this constant touch points, even from a strategy perspective. Okay, you've adopted X number of tools, you've made some gains, and how do you measure those gains? Yes. What's the next set of tools? So it's a phased sort of adoption exercise. And
I just remembered the point that I lost, which was we work in partnership with the clinic.
Yeah.
So because all we know is a framework in how to actually get the best value of how we put stuff together. So we work in partnership with our clients. In terms of they're part of the solution because they've got the insights themselves. When we work with this particular doctor we're working with, he's got a very deep level of insight, so we've got no idea about it. What we have, but what we do is we bring, so we're not pretending that we've got the old solution and we just come in and plug it in. These custom solutions are a collaborative effort between them and us.
I love the comment you made a moment ago about if something is an idea, right, great idea, but does it actually add value?
Is it an opportunity?
You know
how
what I mean?
do you test that idea, right? How do you see if it's viable? Just because you can build it, you don't want to build it because some of these systems are expensive.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love about our club, I love about our community of doctors is that we really learn from each other. And you know, on your, that one person who says, oh, I did that, didn't work. And then somebody says, oh, that's how I fixed it. I was there. And then this collaborative approach really, really works. And what I find that is missing is a place where you can go, there's no nonsense. People can trust each other. People can learn from each other. And actually, it is an integrity piece where if I join this, if I'm part of this collaboration, I will fast track. It's going to be quantum my lead, right? All right, let me move on to then question number 7. It's right there. Has to do with what we're discussing. Demystifying AI. For doctors who are new to AI, what basic principles should they understand to get started? How can we simplify the learning curve for doctors who want to implement AI in their practice?
I think we've touched on a lot of it. So just the fundamentals of AI. What AI can and cannot do. What are the boundaries of AI? That itself is a great thing to start, right? And then there's many types of AI. There's AI for image analysis. There's AI for diagnosis. The AI that can prescribe and prescriptive. Just to understand the various categories of AI, then you know what is the art of the possible here, right? Then you know what you want to adopt. That itself is a great starting point. Of course, the ethical side, just to understand the ethical side of things, the regulatory side of things. I mean, the medical practitioners are the experts in their own regulatory spaces. But just to bring that and say, how does that meet with AI ethical framework? What are the AI basic frameworks laid? The European Union has its own ethical frameworks. Australia has its own. America has its own ethical framework. So just to demystify that a little bit, and then you're suddenly more comfortable with how AI comes into the regulatory spaces come together.
Yeah, and so Dhiren and I, in our various capacities, part of when we work with an organisation, we also help the knowledge uplift, so the knowledge transfer from us into them. And so we've actually built a really interesting program, which has actually been, we've done it at the Australian Computer Society, a few other major organisations, and now that organisation is an organisation that already has AI training, but what we do is we take them from an unaware to aware state, aware to ready, and ready to competent. And so what we do is we also help them with that change management piece, but we do it via hands-on workshops. So we go through teaching the fundamentals, but then we actually get people to play things where they walk in not knowing anything about AI, walking out actually building some AI. And that really takes it's the wow factor of this actually isn't as complicated as I thought.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to come in personally for my own journey on the second piece here. How can we simplify the learning curve for doctors who want to implement AI in their practices? Like, as you know, we serve doctors for all over Australia. We do complex finance for them. And when they start realizing that we were definitely using AI, and we wanted to share with them. We did let them in, have a look at it, and they started using our software, and they go like, whoa, and if I change that, what happens? Use the software, and they're like, in that space, not only we had to train our own stuff, we had to develop the AI, we have to then unleash the AI to our own clients, right? Which causes us to be here. This is why then, I went after you guys and saying, hey, let's get together. And the best thing for anyone to accelerate is to be part of a broader communication, hanging out with people that are all about AI. And this is what today is all about. All of you, we are digital. In the past, we'd have to have met in a hotel somewhere. There's people here from Perth. Hello, Perth, how are you doing? There's people here from Melbourne, from Sydney, from Brisbane, and all other parts of Australia. Hello, Gold Coast. Hello, Sunshine Coast. There's doctors here from we are actually, very much in the present that only a few years ago would be like unimaginable. The point I want to make right now is this. Being part of a broader communication is key. Being part of like hanging out and not just having, I don't know, was AI this or AI this, but actually engaging on how can I use the uplift for me personally. That starts there. And then how can I work with my colleagues? How can I work with the doctors I refer to, the doctors I get referrals from, and having a broader understanding of what AI is all about. So it leads me to my question number 8, which is, how do I overcome a fear that I will be replaced, a fear that AI is coming and the doctors will be gone because Dr. Google now is going to become alive and it'll be able to interact with people. We already touched on it a little bit, that we always need this specialist, but I just want to drive it like this. What are the common fears or misconceptions doctors may have about AI, and how can we address them? Can you share success stories of doctors who were initially hesitant but now successful in the integrated AI space?
Look, really, really simple. A lot of the misconceptions are through lack of understanding, and fear is a great example of that. Fear is a great outcome from lack of understanding. Job displacement. It's going to take my job. Well, it might, if you don't do anything about it. If your job is something that's easily repeatable, but the misconception is that it's going to take my job. It's how do you apply critical thinking to this? What is my job? What is AI? How do I know it's going to take my job? Where did I get my evidence from? AI is meant to partner with us, to augment us, to help uplift and take away a whole heap of things. It's a common misconception. It's actually not true. There is a saying that AI will replace the people that won't replace jobs. It'll replace the people. What's the saying?
So
the people?
AI won't take away your jobs, but it'll take away the jobs of people who do not use AI. So people using AI will take away the jobs of people who do not use AI.
Yeah.
That's people with AI.
So the reality is, I push this forward a little bit, and doctors that have AI will outperform the doctors that don't. And the doctors that don't, they'll be more and more irrelevant in the marketplace, yes?
Yeah.
Across the board, not just doctors.
No,
across
the majority of people here are nurses, doctors, and...
Well, I'll give you a point. When we first connected, right, I had a look at your software and how it works. It was great, right? Did I need to know exactly how the technical back end of your AI works? No. Most customers don't want to know. They just want to know, wow, you can do that magic. Yeah. That just comes out. And so there's a lot of misconceptions that because it's a black box thing, that something goes into AI and it comes out of AI. Because I don't understand this stuff in the middle, it's ethically not right, or it's not very responsible, but these are misconceptions. Yeah. There's a lot of thought gone into this stuff.
You and I were at a conference the other day where this conversation happened. A very senior person in Australia, very, very senior person, saying, we got to shut it down. We got to wait until we get our horses together. We want to get our understanding right. We need to be participating. It's kind of too late now already.
Well, to give you a very quick example, in a slightly different, a totally different sphere, Darren and I are addressing a problem that we're talking to the US federal government about in terms of artists, musicians' rights, their rights on their artworks. we've recognized that music files used to be where the transactable value was. And the whole industry is being built on these digital files, music and video and all that sort of stuff. With generative AI now, I can say, build me a song that lasts for 3 minutes, that sounds like Dolly Parton, blah, blah, blah. The artist doesn't get paid in that. So we've built an interface between the prompt and an artist, right? So we built a new type of right mechanism. But it's only because, you know, we've understood we can stand back and look at the problem and know the tools. Now the misconceptions are, this AI tool it should be stopped. Stop it. It's not. It's already too late. It's not. You're not going to stop it. So it's about how do we use our intelligence as human beings with the tools that we have to come up with new solutions.
Guys, our view for Medigrow is very simple. We want to have collaboration. We want absolutely every nurse, every doctor, every student being part of a cohort where we can have these conversations like across the board, where we share, we learn, we collaborate. There is not. The future of AI in healthcare is already present and then in the past. We must execute. So which leads me to question number 9. When we created this community called Medigrow, was all about giving people, in the beginning, it was all about financial intelligence. Now it's about artificial intelligence, and then we need to get people to have lift so they can have back more time, time for themselves, time for their family, leverage from everything that is possible. So let's talk a little bit about the future of AI in healthcare, okay? What do you envision as the future of AI in healthcare over the next 5 to 10 years? It's my question number 9.
It's a tricky one. I'd hate to call myself a futurist,
especially in AI.
The space is moving so fast. But I do think that we're going to get, I'm sure you would agree, that we're going to get widespread adoption of AI-assisted diagnosis and
100%.
And it's in all fields of medicine. I think that's going to be
personalized medicine is going to become much more real, right? So because you can crunch so much data, add genomics, add all of the data. I'm going to refrain myself from using any medical terms because I'm not the medical expert. But I know medicine deals with large amounts of data, and every patient, if you had the time, all the time in the world, you would collect all the data about the patient in the world. You don't have the time. The wearables, the Internet of Things, like the Apple Watches and the Whoop bands and the Aura rings, all of them are emitting very useful information. Who's going to put them together? I think you're going to see a lot of personalized medicine. I was talking to another doctor, a friend of mine actually, and he's in the genomics area, and he was telling some of the doctors on the call today would know, it's actually real. Today.
It's real.
They're crunching.
And we know it because we are developing, AI in that very front. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 2 trends coming, and I know that the majority of people here know, is that aging is not a disease, but in the Western world, it will be treated more and more like so. Right? Like people don't want to age, and now that we can collect all the data, from DNA samples to blood samples to that we can actually see some factors really fast and start asking questions because we have easier access to data, processing data like never before. We can ask questions about not holding back age, not reversing age, but holding it back, as long as we can. Have people have incredible lives in many, many years to come. That's a trend that I see because of AI like exploding, right? What should doctors prepare for those upcoming changes and advancements in AI technology? Let me say this again. How should doctors prepare, right? Doctors, nurses, admins in hospitals, right? For these upcoming changes and advancements in AI technology?
It's really quite simple. It's about education, but having people who can help you navigate the information that you need to know, because there's so much information, it can become, and your time poor. You need that mentorship, you need that guidance to go, this is the information you need to know. You don't need to worry about that. Like if I was talking to doctors, there's no point me talking to doctors about inference costs on standing up specific types of GPUs when we don't actually understand what the outcome is. They don't even need to know that. They just want to know, what's that going to cost me with that many users? So it's that nuance of having the expertise
Correct.
to be able to say, that's what you need to know, because there's so much fountain of knowledge out there. you'd waste so much of your time trying to actually understand it.
If you flip that, right, if I go to a doctor with, let's say, a certain condition, if the doctor starts to explain everything that the doctor knows, it will just overwhelm me. Me as a patient, I've come to you with a problem. You're the expert. Tell me what to do. No, tell me what to do. What do I have to do in the morning tomorrow? What do I have to do in the afternoon? That's all I need. And I have the trust in you to tell me, because if you start to talk to me about medical terminology, you overwhelm me. So I think it's the other way around with AI, right? You don't need to know all the algorithms. You don't need to know what happens at the neural network, artificial neural network level, right? All you know is these tools does this, this is the boundaries, these are the problems, these are the good things.
You know, man, I've been driving for over 30 years. Still, if my car breaks down, I haven't got a clue. I would not be able to fix it.
And that's getting more difficult, right? Because the cars today are more sophisticated.
Right? I don't need to know mechanics to be able to drive a car, right? And that's so well said. Guys, let's keep moving. AI-powered tools and services. Can you highlight some AI-powered tools that are revolutionizing healthcare today? Thank you for already mentioning, another way to, I'm not going to use Google it, but get information. How can doctors leverage these tools to enhance their practice and patient interaction? Can you highlight some AI-powered tools that are revolutionizing healthcare today?
I'll give broad categories. I mean, there's hundreds of tools. That is one of the problems, right? We need to declutter this tool set. So there is a lot happening in imagery and image analysis, from CT scans to MRIs, and most of the doctors in the call and the medical professionals would know about this. Google's AI health suite of products called MedPalm and MedGemini, they are surpassing again some of the human capabilities in radiology and things like that. There's a lot happening in voice and text, so clinical notes and taking real-time voice notes and transcribing that into medical terminology, looking for the needle in the haystack.
So while I'm sitting with my patient, my AI is just listening. By the time at the end of the consultation, all the notes are taken.
If I was at work and if I'm on a call, I have a co-pilot running. It's taking my meeting notes, it's summarizing. And I'll tell you what, the third area is knowledge management, right? Like, I have a personal knowledge management system. I've built a very simple system where I dump all my meeting notes, my conversations. Finn and I have a brainwave, and we think about this beautiful idea. It's all transcribed for me, and it's summarized, and I put it into my digital twin knowledge base. And I can go and ask. Now, I'm going to say something that the doctors may not fully like. My blood works and my DNA. I've put it all into my one knowledge base. And sometimes I ask questions. Not to get advice from the system, but help me prepare. So when I go and see my banker, when I go and see my bank broker, I've asked the questions. What's my financial thing? What's my capacity at the moment? Where am I spending? What's happening with the interest hike? So it gives me enough information for me to go and have expert advice. So guys, knowledge management is
See, Dhiren sits here as a specialist telling you that he has this digital twin. It's just a matter of, I'm going to say for some people here, days, for some people weeks, but it's a very short period of time where most people will have their digital twin, their digital secretary, and this is where this conversation needs to be integrated. It's not a matter of learning, it's a matter of integration, right? And you being able to get into the conversation like, I'm here to understand, to know, to apply, all in one. So only a few more questions, and then we're going to talk about what we're setting out to do to revolutionize this space.
Go for it. We're getting started. We can just go on. Yes. You're going to stop us.
Okay. AI and patient interaction. How can AI be used to improve patient interaction and engagement in a medical practice? We're talking about wearables before. I'm not wearing my wearable today, but in my conversation with Dr. Samir, we already know my DNA composition. We already know all my blood work. It's already inside of my data with my doctor. I wear my wearables. All the data gets centralized into one app, okay? And then from there, this is not in the future. This is happening as we speak, right? From my very app, I know where I'm at. My watch is reading me every day, all the time. So when I go see my doctor now, the AI has done all the work.
Correct.
It's done. This is done all the work. So guys, if you're here on the call, thank you for being with us so far. If you're enjoying us, we're going to go only for a few more moments, another 20 minutes or so. But what I want you to know is this: it is still worth inviting others, because as Darren said, we're just starting. I have an invitation for you today that is going to change everything you're setting out to do. It's not just about knowledge and application. When I'm talking to you about this app, we have thousands of doctors in our database that are our clients connecting with us. It's a very small percentage of them, a very small percent of you are actually on the horse called AI. You're watching the horse. It's like it's over there. We need to get on it. And this conversation is incredibly important, and the timing of it. Finbar had an expression here a moment. You're in a takeaway lane, like you're about to take off. Timing is absolutely perfect, brilliant. We don't want to be in a situation where somebody gives us, little pieces of disjointed apps and help us God to put it together. So guys, I just want to go question 12, only a few more questions to go. AI-driven innovation. How can doctors stay updated with the latest AI innovation and incorporate them into their practice? Now, Finn, we're talking about, Darren, we talked a little bit about us hanging out together and you guys having access to the best of the best. It's not just you. It's the other superheroes in the League of Justice, right? Right. Talk to me a little bit about how can doctors stay updated, in this latest AI conversation.
Well, yeah, so just to point on the network, so Darren and I know we've got a pretty decent network, haven't we, of applied AI people, not just consultants, not academics, people who actually build the tools. And so when you build the tool, it comes with a lot of extra you get a lot more nuance in understanding the commercial value of that. So yeah, we've got a very large network of people. And we, with some of the work that we do, part of that is that mentoring and road mapping for clients. We also build solutions for clients. So we work at multiple parts of the journey. So how they get informed is, look, there's some great forums you could probably get part of. There's probably some good networks, mentoring. But I would advise that any of that sort of stuff, it needs to be really nuanced to medicine. And the other thing that they can do is to find doctors who are already using AI, who are mature in their AI use, and get some, talk to them and get some advice from them, because they're the people. It's the people that are doing it, not talking about doing it. In my view, where the value lies, because there's a lot of people talking about it.
Well, yeah. Darren, you have any?
I think Finbar covered it. So it's just the problem is there's too much stuff happening out there. So really attaching yourself to a relevant source of information and a trustable source of information is the key. So we do this, we are passionate about this, as you can see, Julio, and as you know us. The collective that Finbar mentioned are people like us, just passionate people that we come together, we exchange information. Because we're always learning. All of us are learning all the time, whether it is from inter-industry, like what's happening in the banking world, how are we deciding on a loan process, to what's happening in the medical. Like, we learn so much from when we come to forums like this. We also learn so much.
It is very important that forums like this take really shape. We need to make sure that in our cohorts we have not only the doctors but also the academics, also the people that are in government. If you were to look from a regulatory perspective, a point of view, from a government point of view, we're talking about security, banking, public works, and also medicine, and also what's ethical, and it's to regulate. The world has changed. The world that we live in now is no longer what it used to be. We can conceptualize a world without electricity. We can conceptualize it, but we could no longer live in it. Like, a world without electricity it would just not be viable for us humans as we are today. Well, AI is that same conversation. In a moment from now, ain't gonna be a consideration, should I have it, should I not have it? But we know that a lot of people are just talking about it. are not emerging, are not getting themselves into it, having the deliberations, the proper conversations.
Can I just mention, Julia, I'm not trying to get doctors offside here or anything. It's just, this is a methodology I explain to people, is that I say we've been educated, most of us have been educated into a world that no longer exists.
True.
Okay? And I say that if we recognize that we're all running an operating system, a human operating system, we have our conscious and subconscious, and our autonomous behaviors that get mapped to our subconscious, things that we don't know the tools, we don't know how to, most of us don't know how to actually observe our unconscious behaviors and work out which ones aren't serving us in this new world. We've got spam filters on our email, we've got pop-up blockers on our web browser, but what do we have on our mind to filter information? We're being communicated, so we're so overloaded. This is why the power of the network, of to have peers and people who come from different disciplines together, is where that power sits.
That's where that power sits. It's quality, clarity, right, of the very integration of the people that come together.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, very much so, very much so. Okay, guys, I want to talk to you guys now about the Medigrow Club membership, right? Well, what is it all about? It is this network of humans coming together. In a moment, we're going on to that invitation I told you we're gonna do. But over the last few weeks, with the end of the financial year, more and more doctors across Australia have been referring our AI to their accountant. So we are living in a world where we created AI to facilitate going to banks, to facilitate minimizing our doctors' taxes, to help them to invest. And then the application of the AI to our doctors, listen to this, is very important, to our doctors as our clients, generated the reality that our doctors start referring our AI to their accountant. And their accountant is going like, whoa, what is this? This is the kind of integration in this space that is incredibly necessary. So when you have the AI in the background, there is no downtime. The accountant knows the information is the same as the broker knows the information, the client knows the information, and if you invite the bank manager in there, the information is secure, solid, and a driven purpose, right? So when we start saying a continuous leadership and support, what we're doing with Medigrow right now is we have developed one of the most sophisticated AI in the financial sector in Australia. We know it, and we kept it only to our clients. Now, the majority of our clients are doctors. Therefore, how can we bring the doctors into the AI space to leverage their lives in their day-to-day, in their clinics, in their relationship with their patients, their colleagues, their staff members, and so on and so forth, right? Now that you heard all of this information, what are you gonna do next? Are you gonna go back and just sit on all this information and have no change? I doubt that very much. Let's embrace the future together. I'll tell you what we have done. We created these 3 days, these 3 AI accelerator days. The whole idea is to bring you the very best. If you do any research on our guests, Finbar and Dhiren, they are top of the tree. What they are going to deliver in this 1-day accelerator is this. It doesn't matter about your acumen, how much you know or do not know. You may walk in not knowing, and you come out knowing. These guys have years and years of industries. They have applied AI. They work with people that are implementing the coolest things. Even as a process of disclosure we had during the interview, that we are hands-on in this. And I want every one of you to have access to this conversation, not a lame course on AI that is going to teach you about ChatGPT. What's going to happen in this day is deep. It is precise. At the end of the day, the value really is, so it's going to start at 9, finish at 3. The value really is in the conversations we have at the end. What I have seen in those gatherings is amazing. When people start asking questions where they are at, the deliberations themselves, the specific answers, you cannot put a value on this. So this day is $2,400. For $2,400, you may show up with all your questions. If you're already in a journey and implementing a few things, this is going to be like you can accelerate even further from there. If you are coming and you know nothing, just know we are not going to leave anyone behind. The best $2,400 you ever invested. Of course, it is tax deductible. It is going to be a business expense. It is for the expansion of your future. And so therefore, you can choose Melbourne on the 17th, Sydney on the 24th, or Adelaide the 31st. Incredible, incredible program. I would dare to say there's nothing like it in Australia. The conversation goes to the next level. It becomes Medigrow Club. The $2,400 fully tax deductible, right? It is a business expense, right? So if you come and spend the day with us on any of the days here, it is going to be one of the best investments you ever had in the future of your career, right? Just pick the day and come. 30 placements only. Now, the Medigrow Club is a conversation. Some of you that are already members of Medigrow, you do not pay. Yeah, you heard me right. All of you that are already our member and being our member, you are welcome to come. And this is part of your membership. For those of you that are not members, well, what is to be a member of the Medigrow Club? The conversation is we will keep coming and transforming your practice. We'll keep coming to help you to secure your wealth, to shape your future. So, you know, we created this membership. People come together. It's in the gathering, the discussions, the dinners, the investments opportunities, the AI conversation. It all happens inside of a community. This is the beautiful part. What I want you to understand is you can join the club today. And if you join the club today, going to those events of AI become part of your membership. So why wouldn't you just join the club? So let me be very specific. If you just want to come, it's $2,400 and it is tax deductible. But if you're a member of Medigrow, your membership not only covers the membership for everything else, but also for the day. So here are the 3 layers of membership: gold, silver, and bronze. Now, what are they? What are we setting out to do? As I explained before, what we're setting out to do is to revolutionize your life. As a gold member, you have a VIP events discount. It is just when we go, like some of you already know, we're going to Rome, we're being to Antarctica, we're going to Rome. The whole idea is people take time out, have their busy lives, busy schedules, right? And they get together and we have these amazing distinctions and discussions about the future business, finance, investments. That's what takes place. So as a gold member, you will have a 20% discount on any of our international events, right? Now, our national events will be part of the conversation as well. So you have AI, finance, marketing, well-being, our finance strategies, our marketing strategies, second to none. You have access to the strategy sessions, yes. If you become a gold member today, not only you come to the event, right, to the AI accelerator, but you also will have access to Finbar or Dhiren for half an hour. You can discuss specifically what you're looking for, and these guys can give you straight what you need to do next. So then you can have also 12 months access to our digital courses, finance, AI, and others. Network with high-end doctors in the health industry. What we have found is this. Some doctors, nurses, what happens is they be doing this for a while, and then they start thinking, what else is there? And then they go to what we call an entrepreneurial phase. That phase is extremely important. If you are on your entrepreneurial phase, you need to be gold member. There's no two questions about that. The conversation is a second to none, right? Access to digital Medigrow Club gatherings, strategy sessions, potential for CPD hours, and also our philanthropy approaches. We want you to be as wealthy as possible so you can help to take poverty out of the planet. That is very much so a mandate of the Medigrow Club. I'm going to introduce One Heart Foundation in a moment. So if you're entrepreneurial, you want to have access to real estate deals, to finance deals, to AI businesses that are going to emerge, this is the place for you. And yes, the $1,595, it is 100% tax deductible because it is a business expense. Now, for those of you that are, okay, I'm not entrepreneurial, I don't want to know too much about real estate deals, I just want to know, I don't want to build a clinic, I don't want to buy and sell a clinic, I just want to know about AI and I want to know how to minimize my tax legally, maybe silver is where you go. So again, tax deductible, and with silver, you still have all of these elements of what you will have. You still have a VIP events to the discounts, right? So when we go internationally, your discount's a little less, but you get a discount nonetheless. National events, strategy sessions, AI consulting, you still get access to the AI specialists. The strategy sessions in finance, everyone in finance is still have all of their debt analyzed. What we have found over the years is a lot of doctors just get the money to do what they want to do, and it's highly inefficient. They have no strategy for debt reduction. We have seen this again and again and again, and much less a criteria for creating assets. As a silver member, you still have access to all of it, right? You have access to the digital Medigrow AI club gatherings, a marketing consulting, you still get access to our digital marketing processes and protocols. Again, many of the events we run accumulate CPD hours, and we'll let you know if you need some CPDs. You can tell us and be part of those events. And again, access to philanthropy as well. I will introduce, as I said, the One Heart Foundation in a moment. Now, for those of you that are saying, okay, I just wanted the basic. I just want to get to know you guys first, and I want to know the basic package. You come in as a Medigrow Bronze member, right? You still go to the national events, you still get the AI consultation, you still get the finance, right? You have 12 months access to our digital courses, strategy sessions, and potential for CPD. What you don't get in the bronze is access to the high-end community when we are talking about developing opportunities, right? That is a much higher conversation, right? If you don't want it, you come to be a bronze member. Now, a few things I want to say to you. Here's our choices. Of course, whatever choice you make today, what I want you to know right now is this. As the founder of Medigrow, I was able to secure Finbar and Dylan to come together with us and provide this AI spectrum like you cannot access anywhere else. You can pay the $2,400 to come for the day or just become a member. It makes total sense. Of course, we want you to become a member. And I'll tell you now the vision, the future for Medigrow. We want to have a cohort of doctors that are leaning towards the future, that are leaning towards what can we do as a community. And this is why we created this is why the club exists. The Medigrow Club exists simply so people can have a place where they can trust the information, they can learn more about finance, about trust, building wealth, about building AI, building systems, what other investments can I do? And the forums are incredible because it's all open source. Now, I want to say something else. If you joined the Medigrow Club and a year later, you thought to yourself, you know what? I didn't get value out of it. No questions asked. I'll refund your money. I'm so certain about this. If I put a zero at the end of all of these and add it to the price, I doubt it very much that you don't find the value. All I want is that cohort, is people that know that they are members of a group. Inside of those groups, there are all sorts of other connections that is not for discussion in this video because it's in the open. It's going to go on social media and so on and so forth. When you come to the gatherings, you understand what I meant right now. So guys, gold, silver, bronze. If you are interested in this AI accelerator for $2,400, you do not have to pay the $2,400. Just become a member and you have full access. So, in order to close this presentation today, the community and the network is our goal. It's people connected to a better future. They can be looking at the future and see it as bright as possible. And we're going to do this as a community, right? We have already lined up a bunch of experts. So we have people coming already down the line, people that started from nothing and own some of the biggest conglomerates of assets in the medical community. People that have built very powerful AI businesses in the medical space. People that own many, many clinics and how they did it. It's all part of the membership itself, right? So every single time that innovation comes available as member, you'll be one of the first ones to know. We know we're in the front. I knew that I was in the front of AI the moment in which my 2 AI brokers were born. The day that they were born knowing a lot about banking, a lot about our finance applications. And the moment I start showing that to my doctor clients, and they start showing that to their accountants, we knew we're onto something by creating AI with doctors for doctors. I think you start to get the picture of where we are going, right? So guys, just to finish all of this, we are 100% committed to One Heart. That One Heart Foundation is a beautiful foundation. I encourage you to research it, to have a look at it. We are in the forefront of taking poverty out of the planet. Mahoy to Dean Landing, the founder of One Heart Foundation. If you join today, right now, if you're watching this as a presentation, if somebody sends you this video, this link, you join today. All you have to do is to get the QR code, right, in the presentation, and 3% of you joining as a member goes to the One Heart Foundation. Again, the One Heart Foundation is a gathering of amazing people and at a scale of being able to produce incredible results, give purpose to the profit to take poverty out of the planet. That is Medigrow in its essence. If you meet me on the street and you say, "What, Julio, what do you want about?" I want to take all your financial inefficiencies out. Then I want to show you the power of AI so you can leverage from it and you can have more time. Our events are family gathering events, not just in the community of doctors. We have events for your family. We take our doctors away on family holidays. It is what we're doing. We haven't seen anything like it on the planet. It's just incredible. The One Heart Foundation is the heart of why we get our doctors to be more profitable. If you make more money than what you need, you can help others that can't have the same opportunities. That's the name of the game, right? So now, all I want to say to you is let's secure your financial future first. Let's leverage from AI. Choose what membership is the best for you. Once again, fully tax deductible. And if after 12 months you think, that's not good, I didn't get any value out of that, we'll refund your money, no questions asked, all good, no problem at all. That's how I are committed to you being committed to the club. So, you are invited. Welcome, and I hope to see you in our next event. Guys, join Medigrow Club today. Today. The reason why is this. Let's create an incredible, incredible future together. I'll see you guys there.